The Fenari do not forget. Our minds hold every moment like a photograph that never fades. For most of my people, this is a blessing. For me, it became a curse the day they sent me to observe the humans. My name is Rillick. I am a diplomatic observer, one of many who serve the Galactic Compact by recording the deeds of member species. We are living cameras, walking archives. Our perfect memory makes us valuable, and our peaceful nature makes us trusted. Every species in the Compact has been documented by a Fenari observer at some point. When the Council summoned me, I thought it was routine. Another species to watch. Another report to file. I was wrong. The humans require evaluation, Elder Sothani told me. Her 4 eyes studied me with something I did not recognize at first. Later, I would understand it was pity. Before they receive full membership, we must understand their military capabilities. You will embed with their forces and document what you see. I accepted without concern. Humans had joined the Compact only 15 years ago. They were newcomers. Their technology was average. Their ships were nothing special. What could possibly be remarkable about their military? 3 observers have already refused this assignment, so Thani added quietly. The stories that come back from human space are troubling. I dismissed her worry. Stories grow in the telling. Every species has rumors about their warriors. The Kreth were called monsters. The Velani were called unstoppable. But when I observed them, they were simply soldiers doing a job. Surely humans would be the same. I was given access to human historical files before my departure. Sanitized records, meant for alien eyes. They mentioned something called World Wars, where millions died. They referenced weapons that could destroy entire cities in a single flash. I noted these facts but did not truly process them. Such things seemed distant. Ancient history from a primitive time. The human ship that collected me was called the Relentless. An aggressive name, I thought. Humans seem to enjoy aggressive names. Captain Diana Wells greeted me personally. She was a small female by human standards, with gray in her dark hair and lines around her eyes. She smiled warmly and shook my hand in the human custom. Her grip was firm but gentle. Welcome aboard, Observer Rillick. We'll try not to bore you too much. She assigned me a liaison, Sergeant Paul Reeves. He was tall, quiet, with scars on his face and hands that spoke of violence survived. But his eyes were kind, and he spoke to me with patience. First time with humans? He asked as he showed me to my quarters. Yes, I have observed 12 species before yours. And what do you think so far? I considered the question. The crew I had seen seemed relaxed. They laughed easily. They made jokes I did not always understand. They did not seem like fearsome warriors. You seem friendly, I admitted. Reeves smiled. It was a strange smile. Sad, perhaps. We are friendly. Until we're not. I did not understand then. I would later. For 3 days, life aboard the Relentless was peaceful. I documented human routines. Their meals. Their exercise. Their casual conversations. They treated me with curiosity and kindness. Several tried to teach me human card games. One offered to share something called coffee, which I found bitter but strangely appealing. Then the message came. I was in the observation deck when Captain Wells announced it over the ship's speakers. Her voice had changed. The warmth was gone. In its place was something cold and hard. All hands, battle stations. We have received a distress call from Draven's Reach mining colony. Kreth raiders have taken hostages. 200 civilians, mixed species. We are the closest vessel. Command has authorized rescue operations. The change in the humans was immediate. The laughter stopped. The casual postures straightened. Within minutes, soldiers moved through the corridors with weapons and armor. Reeves found me and handed me a lightweight vest. What is this? I asked. Protection. You're coming with us. I was told I would observe from orbit. Reeves shook his head. Captain's orders. If you want to understand how humans fight, you need to see it. Up close. I felt the first cold touch of fear. The Kreth are dangerous. They kill hostages. Standard protocol is negotiation over time. Accepting some losses to save the majority is, we don't do that, Reeves interrupted. His voice was quiet but absolute. We don't accept losses. We don't leave people behind. That is tactically inefficient. Maybe. He checked his weapon with practiced hands. But it's who we are. I wanted to refuse. I wanted to stay on the ship where it was safe. But my duty was to observe. To record. To remember to SO, I followed Sergeant Reeves into the dropship with 20 other human soldiers. They checked their weapons. They made dark jokes. Some prayed to gods I did not know. They prepared for violence the way others might prepare for dinner. As the dropship descended toward Draven's Reach, I looked at their faces. Calm, focused, ready. That I did not understand then what I was about to witness. I did not know that the next few hours would mark my memory forever. But sitting in that metal box falling toward a hostile world, surrounded by creatures who treated war as routine, I felt something I had never felt in all my years as an observer, that I felt truly afraid. And the battle had not even begun. The dropship shook violently as we entered the atmosphere of Draven's Reach. Red warning lights flashed. The pilot's voice crackled through speakers, announcing enemy fire. The humans around me did not flinch. They simply tightened their straps and waited. I gripped my seat with all four hands, my heart's racing in my chest. Fenari are not built for combat. We are scholars, witnesses. Our bodies are thin, our reflexes slow. In that moment, surrounded by creatures evolved for violence, I felt very small. Sergeant Reeves sat beside me. His eyes were closed. His breathing was slow and steady. He might have been sleeping if not for the slight tension in his jaw. How can you be so calm? I asked, my voice higher than I intended. He opened one eye. Calm isn't the word. We just don't let fear make decisions. The dropship lurched again. Someone cursed. Someone else laughed. A female soldier across from me was checking her rifle for the third time. Her hands moved with automatic precision. The Kreth, I said, trying to distract myself from the chaos. Tell me about them. Slavers, Reeves replied. They raid colonies, take prisoners, sell them to the highest bidder. Standard practice is to kill about 30% of hostages immediately. Makes the rest easier to control. That is horrible. It is. His voice hardened. That's why we're going to stop them. The dropship suddenly stabilized. Through the small window, I could see the dusty surface of Draven's Reach rushing toward us. Brown earth, gray buildings, smoke rising from several structures. 2 minutes to landing, the pilot announced. The humans stood as one. They formed lines near the exit ramp. Weapons ready. Faces focused. The joking had stopped completely now. What remained was something I had never seen before. Something cold and sharp and dangerous. Stay behind me, Reeves told me. Do exactly what I say. Don't hesitate. The ramp dropped. Sound hit me first. Explosions. Energy weapons. Screaming. The humans poured out of the dropship like water from a broken container. They moved fast, spreading out, finding cover. Their weapons fired in controlled bursts. I stood frozen at the top of the ramp. My legs refused to move. My mind was empty of everything except fear. A Kreth raider rose from behind a barrier 20 meters away. He aimed at me. I saw the weapon lift. I saw his finger move toward the trigger. I could not move. Then Reeves was there. He grabbed me with one arm and threw me behind a pile of rubble. A shot burned the air where I had stood. Reeves returned fire without pause. The Kreth fell. Move with me, he ordered. There was no anger in his voice, just certainty that we advanced through the chaos. The humans worked in pairs, covering each other, communicating with hand signals and short bursts of words. I had observed military operations before. The Villani were precise. The Kreth were brutal. But I had never seen anything like this. The humans flowed around obstacles like predators hunting prey. They anticipated threats before I could even see them. One soldier would draw fire while another flanked. They moved through the colony streets with terrifying efficiency. A Kreth position blocked our path. 6 raiders behind a makeshift wall. Heavy weapons. The logical choice was to wait for support. To find another route. The humans did not wait. A soldier named Rico threw something over the wall. A loud bang. A bright flash. Before the Kreth could recover, the humans were over the barrier. The fight lasted 8 seconds. When it ended, all 6 raiders were dead. I stepped over their bodies, trying not to look. But I could not help seeing. The humans had not used excessive force. They had not tortured or mutilated. They had simply killed with brutal efficiency and moved on, deeper into the colony now, toward the entrance to the underground mining complex. Reports came over the radio. Other teams were making progress. Casualties on both sides. Then a young human soldier fell. A shot to her leg. She went down hard, crying out in pain. I expected the squad to leave her. In every other military I had observed, wounded soldiers were left for medical teams. Stopping endangered the mission. But the humans did not leave her. Point two soldiers immediately provided covering fire. Two more grabbed the wounded woman and began carrying her. The entire squad slowed its advance to protect her. This is inefficient, I said without thinking. You are risking everyone for one person. Reeves looked at me. Something flickered in his eyes. Not anger exactly. Something deeper. We don't leave our people behind, he said. Ever. For any reason. But tactically, I don't care about tactics. His voice was hard. She's one of us. That means she comes home. All of us do. Or none of us do. I watched them carry her through the firefight. They took additional risks. They exposed themselves to danger. And not one of them complained. Not one suggested leaving her. It made no logical sense. It violated every principle of efficient warfare I had ever learned. And yet, watching them risk everything for a single wounded soldier, I felt something shift inside me. These were not mindless killers. They were not efficient machines. They were something else entirely. That we reached the entrance to the underground complex. The wounded soldier was stabilized and sent back to the dropship with an escort. The rest of us prepared to descend into the darkness where the hostages waited. Reeves checked his weapon one final time. The hard part starts now, he said quietly. I did not think it could get harder. I did not think I could be more afraid. That I was wrong on both counts. Darkness swallowed us the moment we entered the mining tunnels. The humans activated lights on their weapons, creating narrow beams that cut through the black. Shadows jumped and twisted on the rocky walls. Every corner could hide death. The Finari see well in low light. Better than humans, I thought. But down here, in this maze of stone and metal, my eyes gave me no advantage. My ears heard only dripping water and distant echoes. My hearts beat so loud I was certain the enemy could hear them. Reeves moved ahead of me, his steps silent despite his heavy armor. The other 4 soldiers in our squad spread out behind us. They communicated with gestures I did not understand. Their coordination was perfect without words. How do you know where to go? I whispered. Floor plans from the colony database, Reeves replied softly. Plus instinct. Instinct. He paused at an intersection, tilting his head slightly. Humans evolved as both predators and prey. We learned to sense danger, read environments, anticipate threats. He pointed left. That way feels wrong. We went right. Later, we would learn that the left tunnel had been rigged with explosives. Human instinct had saved our lives. The tunnels branched and twisted. We passed abandoned mining equipment. Empty carts. Tools left where workers had dropped them when the attack began. The Kreth had struck fast and hard. The colonists never had a chance to fight back. A sound ahead. Footsteps. The squad froze instantly. Lights went dark. We pressed against the walls and waited. Kreth patrol. For raiders walking carelessly, laughing about something. They did not know we were there. They would never know. The humans attacked in perfect silence. 2 went down before they could raise weapons. The 3rd managed to scream before a human hand covered his mouth. The 4th tried to run, but he did not get far. What I saw next burned into my perfect memory forever. A human soldier named West tackled the running Kreth. His weapon had jammed. It did not matter. He killed the raider with his hands. With his bare hands. That I had read about human physical capabilities. Their grip strength. Their bone density. Their ability to use every part of their body as a weapon. Reading about it was nothing like seeing it. West stood up, breathing hard. There was blood on his hands. He looked at them for a moment, then wiped them on his armor and retrieved his weapon. Damn thing jams at the worst times, he muttered. The other humans nodded as if nothing unusual had happened. Because for them, it was not unusual. It was just another moment in combat. That we continued deeper. The first hostages were in a storage chamber. 40 colonists, including children, huddled together in the dark. Guards had been posted at the entrance, but they were dead now, killed by a squad that had arrived minutes before us. The hostages stared at us with wide eyes. Fear, hope, confusion. A Finari child ran to me, grabbing my legs, crying in relief at seeing another of her kind. You are safe now, I told her, though I was not certain it was true. Human medics moved among the hostages, checking injuries, offering water. Their gentleness surprised me. These were the same hands that had killed without hesitation moments ago. Now they touched frightened children with care. A human voice crackled over the radio. Another squad had found more hostages. But there was a problem. Kreth commander has a gun to a hostage's head, demanding we withdraw or he kills them all. Requesting orders. Captain Wells responded immediately. Hold position. Sniper team, do you have a solution? A pause. Then another voice. Angle is bad. 30% chance of hitting the hostage. 30%. I calculated the odds. With 60 hostages in that group, negotiation might save more lives than risking such a shot. Standard protocol would be to talk, to bargain, to accept the loss of one to save many. Take the shot. Wells ordered. 0.3 seconds later, target down. Hostages secure. The Kreth commander had died with a bullet through his eye from 200 meters away in a dark tunnel. The hostage was untouched, and I did not know whether to be impressed or horrified. So I was both. We regrouped with the rescued hostages and prepared to push deeper. 120 civilians saved so far. 80 more somewhere in the tunnels. The Kreth were falling back to their main position. Reeves knelt beside me during a brief rest. His face was grim. The hostages we found, he said quietly. Some of them were tortured. The Kreth were making examples. I saw the marks. It gets worse ahead. Intelligence suggests the Kreth killed some hostages when the attack began. To show they were serious. His jaw tightened. There are children who won't be going home. I watched the other humans receive this information. Something changed in them. The professional calm shifted into something colder. Darker. Their movements became sharper. Their eyes harder. What happens now? I asked. Reeves stood, checking his weapon with movements that seemed almost violent. Now we find the rest. And we make the Kreth answer for what they did. His voice was flat, empty of emotion. But his eyes burned with something that made me take a step back. That I had seen humans fight efficiently. I had seen them kill without cruelty. But I had not yet seen them angry. As we descended deeper into the tunnels, I realized I was about to witness something far more terrifying than anything I had experienced so far. Human rage was coming, and nothing in the galaxy could stop it. We found the bodies in a side tunnel. 12 colonists. 4 of them children. They had been executed, shot in the head, and left where they fell. The Kreth had not even bothered to move them. I stopped walking. My legs would not carry me further. My perfect Fenari memory captured every detail against my will. The small hands. The empty eyes. The dried blood on the stone floor. A human soldier named Beth made a sound. Not a scream. Not a cry. Something lower. Something animal. She turned away, her whole body shaking. The others did not turn away. They looked. They saw. They remembered. And then they went quiet. I had heard human silence before. The comfortable pause between friends. The peaceful rest of sleep. This was different. This silence had weight. It pressed against my skin like cold water. It filled the tunnel with something thick and dangerous. Reeves knelt beside the smallest body. A human girl, no more than 5 years old. He closed her eyes with gentle fingers. Then he stood and picked up his weapon. His face had changed. Not twisted with rage. Not red with anger. Worse, it had gone completely blank. Empty. Like a mask hiding something terrible beneath. Captain, he spoke into his radio. We found them. A pause. Then Wells responded. Understood. Another pause. Longer this time. All teams. Weapons free. No quarter. I grabbed Reeves's arm. What does that mean? No quarter. He looked at me. Through me. It means we stop holding back. The assault on the main Kreth stronghold began minutes later. 3 human squads converging from different tunnels. The Kreth had fortified a large cavern, using mining equipment as barriers. 50 raiders. Heavy weapons. They thought they were prepared. They were wrong. The humans hit them like a storm. Not careful tactics now. Not measured advances. Pure aggression channeled through military training. They moved faster than I thought possible. They took risks that should have been suicidal. I huddled behind a rock, watching in horror as the battle unfolded. A human soldier took a shot to the chest. His armor held, but the impact knocked him down. He was up again in seconds, firing as he rose. Another took a blade to the shoulder. He did not fall. He grabbed the Kreth who stabbed him and broke his neck with his bare hands. Then he kept fighting with the blade still in his flesh. Reeves was at the front. Always at the front. He moved through the Kreth positions like death itself. His shots never missed. His movements never stopped. When his weapon ran empty, he used his knife. When his knife was lost, he used his hands. I had read about human adrenaline, the chemical that flooded their systems in moments of danger. It reduced pain. It increased strength. It turned ordinary beings into something more. Seeing it in action was different from reading about it. The Kreth began to break. Their discipline crumbled under the human assault. They ran. They hid. They begged. The humans did not stop. Captain Wells entered the cavern when it was nearly over. She walked through the chaos with calm authority, directing her soldiers, coordinating the final push. Her uniform was clean. Her face was cold. A Kreth commander emerged from behind a barrier, hands raised. I surrender. I invoke the compact rights of prisoners. You cannot. Wells raised her hand. Her soldiers stopped. The firing ceased. For a long moment, silence filled the cavern. The Kreth commander smiled, relief flooding his face. You see? You humans follow rules. You have to accept I accept your surrender. Wells interrupted. Her voice was ice. You will live. You will face trial. And you will answer for every life you took today. The Kreth's smile faded. A trial? Before who? Before everyone. Wells stepped closer. We will show the galaxy what you did here. Everybody. Every child. Every atrocity. And then we will let justice take its course. That is, you cannot. We are not like you. Wells said quietly. We do not murder prisoners. But we do not forgive either. You will live a long time, Commander. And every day of that life, you will remember what happens to those who harm the innocent. She turned away. Take him. The remaining hostages were in a chamber beyond the cavern. 80 colonists, alive but traumatized. Human medics rushed to help them. Soldiers who had been killing moments ago now carried children in their arms. I watched them work. These creatures who had unleashed such violence now spoke in soft voices. They offered water. They wrapped blankets around shaking shoulders. They held hands and promised safety. The duality broke something in my understanding. How could the same beings do both? How could hands that killed without mercy now comfort without hesitation? Reeves found me sitting against a wall, staring at nothing. You okay? He asked. That I could not answer. I was not okay. I would never be okay again. He sat beside me. His armor was dented. His hands were bloody. But his eyes were kind again. The monster was gone, replaced by the quiet man I had first met. 180, he said. Out of 200. We saved 180. 20 dead, I whispered. 20 you could not save. 20 we will never forget. His voice cracked slightly. 20 who deserve to go home. I looked at him. At this human who had killed today, who had raged today, who now mourned today. How do you carry it? I asked. How do you live with what you can do? He was quiet for a long time. We don't always, he finally said. But we try. Because someone has to do what we do. Someone has to be the monster so others don't have to be. He stood and offered me his hand. Come on, let's go home. I took his hand, and I let him lead me out of the darkness. But part of me, I think, never left those tunnels. 3 days after the battle, I watched a human medic bandage a Kreth prisoner's wounds. The same species that had murdered children. The same raiders who had tortured innocent colonists. And here was a human, carefully treating their injuries, making sure they were comfortable. That I did not understand. Why? I asked the medic, a young female named Anna. After everything they did, why help them? She paused in her work, considering the question. Because the fight's over. They're not threats anymore. They're just prisoners now. They killed children. I know. Her voice was steady but sad. And they'll answer for it. But hurting them now won't bring anyone back. It would just make us more like them. She finished the bandage and moved to the next prisoner. Gentle hands. Professional care. No hatred in her movements. That I walked away more confused than before. The relentless traveled back toward compact space at standard speed. The rescued hostages had been transferred to a hospital ship. The dead had been prepared for burial according to their species customs. The Kreth prisoners sat in holding cells, awaiting trial. And I sat in my quarters, unable to sleep. Fenari, do not forget. Every moment of the battle played in my mind on an endless loop. The gunfire, the screaming, the smell of blood and burning, the sound of bones breaking under human hands, the children lying dead in the tunnel. That I could not escape it. I would never escape it. Reeves found me on the 4th day, sitting in the observation deck, staring at the stars. You haven't eaten, he said. I am not hungry. He sat beside me anyway. We remained in silence for a long time. It's called trauma, he finally said. What you're feeling. We have a name for it. Do all humans experience this? Most soldiers do. Different levels. Different triggers. He looked at his hands. I still dream about my first battle. 10 years ago. I still see faces. How do you continue? How do you fight again knowing the cost? He thought about it. Because someone has to. Because if we don't, more children die. More colonies burn. More families get torn apart. He met my eyes. We pay the price so others don't have to. I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell him there had to be another way. But I had seen the Kreth. I had seen what they did to helpless prisoners. Negotiation would not have saved those colonists. Only force had saved them. Only human force. Over the next few days, I interviewed several soldiers for my report. Each conversation taught me something new about humanity. Beth, the young soldier who had broken down in the tunnel, told me about her nightmares. She had joined the military to protect people. She had not expected to see such horror, but she would serve again if needed. Because every time I close my eyes and see those bodies, I also see the ones we saved. 180 people alive because we were there. An older veteran named Diego spoke about purpose. I've been fighting for 20 years. I've lost friends. I've done things that haunt me. But every mission, I ask myself, who would suffer if I wasn't here? And the answer keeps me going. Captain Wells was the most difficult to read. She sat across from me with perfect posture, answering questions in a measured voice. Do you regret any decisions? I asked. I regret the 20 we lost. I will always regret them. But your tactical choices? They saved 180 lives. I made the best decisions I could with the information I had. She paused. Regret is a luxury soldiers cannot afford. We analyze. We learn. We prepare to do better next time. And the rage? The violence? Do you regret that? She was quiet for a moment. We are not proud of what we can do, but we will not apologize for it either. The galaxy is not a kind place. Sometimes violence is the only language aggressors understand. I finished my interviews, but could not finish my report. Every time I tried to write, the words felt wrong. How could I explain what I had witnessed? How could I make the council understand? The final night before we reached compact space, Reeves invited me to dinner with his squad. They ate and laughed and told stories about missions past. They included me in their conversations. They treated me like one of them. At the end of the meal, Reeves raised a glass. To the 20 we couldn't save. May they find peace. Every human raised their glass. Every human spoke the words. And I saw tears in their eyes. Real tears. Real grief. For strangers they had never met before the mission. You carry them with you, I said quietly. All of them. Every person you could not save. Reeves nodded. Every single one. That's the weight we bear. That's the price we pay. Why? Why accept such a burden? He looked at me with those kind, scarred eyes. Because someone has to. And because every name we carry reminds us why we fight. He smiled sadly. We lose pieces of ourselves every time we go to war. But we save pieces of others. And that trade, that's worth it. It has to be worth it. I finally understood. Humans were not unfeeling machines of war. They felt everything. Every death. Every failure. Every moment of violence carved pieces from their souls. They chose to fight anyway. They chose to carry the weight anyway. They chose to be the monsters so others could remain innocent. And that choice, that terrible, beautiful choice, was what made them both terrifying and magnificent. That MY report would need to explain that somehow. That I only hoped I could find the words. 1 month after returning from Draven's Reach, I stood before the Galactic Council. 12 species represented. 47 delegates. All of them waiting to hear my assessment of human military capability. MY report was complete. Hundreds of pages of data. Statistics on human reaction times, weapon accuracy, tactical adaptability. Everything the council had asked for. Everything they expected. But as I looked at their faces, I knew statistics would not be enough. Esteemed delegates, I began. I have documented human military operations as requested. The data is available in your files. But before you review it, I must share what the data cannot capture. The chamber went quiet. Humans are not the most technologically advanced species in the compact. Their weapons are effective, but not exceptional. Their ships are capable, but not superior. By most measurable standards, they are average warriors. Murmurs from the delegates. This was not what they expected. However, I continued, I believe humans may be the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Silence again. Deeper this time. I watched humans fight up close. I stood beside them in tunnels filled with enemies. I saw them take wounds that would kill other species and keep fighting. I saw them kill without hesitation and comfort children without pause. I witnessed their rage and their mercy, often within the same hour. I paused, gathering my thoughts. The Kreth raiders believed they were prepared for human soldiers. They had fortified positions, superior numbers, hostages for leverage. By every tactical measure, they should have had the advantage. I looked at the Kreth delegate. He would not meet my eyes. They did not have the advantage, because they did not understand what they were facing. I stepped forward, my voice growing stronger. Humans do not calculate acceptable losses. They refuse to leave anyone behind. This seems inefficient. It seems illogical, but it means every human soldier fights with the knowledge that their companions will never abandon them. That certainty makes them fearless. The Vellani delegate spoke. Fearlessness is common among warrior species. Human fearlessness is different, I replied. It is not absence of fear. It is the choice to act despite fear. Humans feel everything. Terror, grief, rage. They do not suppress these emotions. They weaponize them. I thought of Reeves, of Wells, of Beth and Diego, and all the others who still walked through my nightmares. When humans saw the bodies of murdered children, something changed in them. I have no scientific term for it. They call it righteous anger, a fury that is controlled but absolute. In that state, they become something else entirely. Not animals, not machines, something in between, something terrible. The chamber was completely silent now. Yet after the battle ended, these same humans treated enemy wounded with care. They wept for strangers they could not save. They carried the weight of every death as personal failure. I shook my head slowly. They destroy without cruelty and mourn without weakness. I have observed 12 species in my career. I have never seen anything like humans. A Fenari elder spoke. What is your recommendation, Observer Rillick? I had thought about this question for weeks. The answer was complicated. So was my heart. I recommend full alliance, I said, but with this warning to every species in the compact. I looked around the chamber, meeting every eye. Never give humans a righteous cause. Never threaten what they love. Never harm the innocent and expect to face human response. Because when humans believe they are fighting for something greater than themselves, they do not stop. They cannot stop. They are a species that has transformed their own capacity for violence into a shield for others. I thought of the dead children, of the living ones, carried to safety in human arms. They will burn themselves out protecting strangers. They will sacrifice their own peace of mind for people they have never met. They will carry trauma that breaks them slowly, year after year, because the alternative is letting others suffer. My voice dropped. I watched humans fight. The terror of what they can do still haunts me. I wake up screaming. I see blood when I close my eyes. I will never be the same. A long pause. But I also saw them save 180 lives. I saw them refuse to give up on a single wounded soldier. I saw them choose mercy when rage would have been easier. And that gives me something I did not expect. What? The elder asked. Hope. I smiled slightly. Because if humans ever fight for us the way they fight for each other, perhaps the galaxy will finally be safe. The council voted. Humanity was granted full membership in the Galactic Compact. That was 15 years ago. I still have nightmares. The perfect Fenari memory ensures I always will. Every moment of that battle remains as fresh as the day it happened, but Sergeant Reeves and I exchange messages regularly now. He retired from military service, has a family, sends me pictures of his children. We have become friends across the void of space. Last year, he visited Seraph. We walked through the gardens of the capital, two old soldiers who had seen too much together. He moves slower now. His scars have faded, but his eyes are still kind. Do you regret it? I asked him. Everything you did? Everything you lost? He thought about it as we walked. I regret the ones I couldn't save. I always will. But I don't regret fighting. I don't regret being what I needed to be so others could be safe. He stopped and looked at me. That's what we do, Rillick. We carry the darkness so others can live in light. It's not noble. It's not pretty. But it's necessary. I nodded. After all these years, I finally understood that I watched humans fight up close. The terror still haunts me. It always will, but so does the hope, because humans are not just warriors. They are guardians, protectors, monsters who choose to be gentle, killers who choose to be kind. And I pray, with every fiber of my being, that we never give them reason to fight against us. Because if the galaxy ever truly threatened what humans love, I believe they would burn it all down to keep their own safe. And part of me believes they would be right to do so. That is the final truth I learned about humanity. They are terrifying, and they are magnificent, and I am grateful every single day that they chose to be our friends.